Today marks World Teachers' Day, a day observed by UNESCO, the International Labour Organization, and UNICEF. It celebrates the significant work done by educators across the world. And this year's theme is Valuing Teacher Voices toward a new social contract for education. The 8th edition of the UNESCO-Hamdan Prize for Teacher Development took place yesterday and honored exceptional teachers in communities. We speak now to one of the winners at the provincial leg of the awards, Lefa Thabakholo from the Bartimea School for the Deaf and Blind in the Tabanchu Free State, who won the award for excellence in technology and enhanced teaching. Good morning, Lefa. Congratulations, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm scared, but I'm trying to hold my composure because tonight, actually today, there are announcements for the finals for the national awards today.
That is incredible. I'm holding thumbs for you, most certainly. Let's start with the theme for today's World Teachers' Day, which is valuing teacher voices toward a new social contract for education. Let's talk about the voices of teachers. As an educator yourself, what can be said about where teachers are currently, especially within the South African landscape?
I think in the South African landscape, teachers are at the point whereby they're supposed to be more innovative in order to communicate what is necessary for the future of learners. And they should actually use their talents, because it's all about passing to the next generation. So being selfish about your talent is one thing that a teacher mustn't have. So I believe that passing over and lifelong learning that we pass to learners is actually playing a bigger role in what we are actually doing, even though we have so many challenges that I hope they will be fixed, because we are not trained to be dealing with other attitudes that we meet at work, like especially with learners, because they have more rights than we do, and we have to respect that. But we have to find ways or a certain training so that we can emotionally deal with it properly.
Do you have the emotional support? I mean, we have seen videos circulating and more every day of what is happening in South African schools with students who in some schools are becoming increasingly violent towards teachers, and with teachers almost seemingly, like you're indicating, not having a voice because students have more rights than the teachers.
Yeah, that's true. The honest truth is the voice that the learners are supposed to actually be having is supposed to be also about positivity all the time. It doesn't matter what we meet at school or whatever, but the support that I always get is from home. Like I have a loving mother, Lefa Thabakholo, in Bethlehem, and every time when I feel like I'm challenged, I call her and she always supports me. I have a good principal, Mapping Gimatasing. She's always supportive. I have a good HOD. Actually, I have two HODs. I have Ms. Donna. She's my HOD on the blind section, and I also have Mapping, which is my HOD at the deaf section, because I'm teaching both sections actually.
And you're not only a teacher, but you
actually motivating.
Yeah, that is wonderful. You're not only a teacher, but you're teaching at a school where you're teaching students who are differently abled, such as the blind and deaf. Now, you've previously indicated as a school that one of your greatest challenges is that learners join in their later years. Why do you think that is?
Sometimes it's because of the challenges. Like, for example, if you have a child, or let me not say if you have a child, if there's a child or a person who was born with his sight, and then there's an accident at some point while they were in the mainstream school, and then that child becomes blind or deaf, now they have to be moved to our school. So sometimes people don't plan those things. They happen during the year, and we can admit them at any time because we are always prepared to actually deal with that kind of situation.
And you cater for students between grade R and grade 12. Now, for those wanting to further their studies, are higher learning institutions adequately equipped to cater to their specific needs?
I think at this moment they're trying their best, and also the dedication that I also have as a teacher I'm trying to also meet the kids halfway, because other learners are also doing music. I'm into music. I'm a music producer, and I have music out on the internet and everywhere. So I try to also accommodate their artistry and also push it further, because some of them, they cannot academically go to those colleges because of their challenges at home or whatever, but they are talented. So I also try to support whatever talent that they have, so that they can actually make money out of it, so that they can actually feed themselves and their families as well.
That's incredible. Now, part of your goal is to help students reach their full potential, as you've indicated, and maximum autonomy for the best social and economic inclusion in their societies. But now the question is, how can we as a society create a more inclusive world for people who are differently abled, particularly people who have hearing impairments, for instance?
To start with, because I communicate with these people every day, from learners to adults, they only need one thing, and they always try to express it all the time. They just need to be treated normal, like everyone else, and their problems are supposed to also be given an ear, so that they can be solved. Because sometimes you'll find there's a deaf person. Now, like, for example, our country has officially put sign language as an official language. But you'll find if a deaf person is arrested, there are still those delays for a deaf person to get to court, because the court can't organize for this person. So they are not being treated equally enough yet. So all they need is to be treated equal enough, so that they can be part of the society as well. And they also need to be supported. If they open up a business, they also need to be supported. If they have an artwork or music that is out, you also need to actually try to give it an ear and support it like you support your local celebrity. So they only need to be treated normal. That's all.
All right. This is indeed a huge step in the right direction, with sign language becoming the 13th official language in South Africa. What more can we do? As you've indicated, we need to provide more support to those who are differently abled. But what else can the government do to create a more conducive environment?
The government should actually give them support after school, like what they're already doing now with varsities and FET colleges. They should actually add more content or more careers that they can actually be involved in, because most of them, they are being put in states whereby they're supposed to actually compete with normally able people. And then at some institution, you'll find they only need one disabled person or whatever, but it's really unfair. So it's supposed to be a balance. We're supposed to actually balance and also give them their own platform where they can actually excel, because they can excel.
All right. So most people don't understand the reality of a deaf person. What advice do you have for our viewers at home in terms of how we can create a better world for those living with visual or hearing impairments?
To start with, the deaf people, don't throw stones at them if they cannot hear you. Don't yell at them. Don't be angry at them, because they're also people. Sometimes these people cannot hear you. And there was another case. I don't know if it was in the United States or anything, but there was a deaf child who got beat up by people who thought he was intruding the place, and it was only a deaf person, and he was trying to get to his relative's place. So those kind of situations, they also impact us, because we are treating these people actually different, because we don't understand what they deal with. If you cannot hear me, I cannot be shouting at you or expect you to actually hear the sound of the car coming behind. I can just come and help you. And if you are blind, we don't need to be just donating to blind people when we meet them at the streets. Let's actually try to put them into programs that makes them more progressive in life and be part of the community. The thing of giving somebody like $2 when you find them singing at the street, it's really unfair. How about taking that person's career that serious, and here, this person has a good voice. How about I find him a studio so that he can make money out of this thing, because now he's at the streets begging. It's really unfair for blind people to be standing at the streets begging. I think that that curse or whatever, it should be actually gone like by now, because it's been happening for years.
So, Lefa, today is World Teachers Day, and before we let you go, I'd love to know who was your favorite teacher and why, because this is part of our poll question that we're running this morning.
God, I wish my favorite teacher was still alive. Actually, I had two favorite teachers in my life, but all of my teachers are my favorite teachers. But my first grade teacher, I still remember her, Mistress Tsiu. She was already an old lady by the time I was in my first grade in school. And there's Miss DJ Chabalala. She also passed away while I was doing, I think it was grade 5. And those people were like leaders to me, because all the things that they taught me and the passion of actually learning, I actually got it from them, because they were actually like an inspiration to me. And then when I was in high school, there was Miss Van Sale. She was my English teacher. I did my high school in Bloemfontein South High, and Miss Van Sale actually inspired my art passion, because I'm a painter. I love painting, and she was always supportive. She would buy me material and try to push my career and tell me that in future try to find a job that also incorporates your art talent, because you are good at it. And I believed her. And now I'm a teacher, and I'm able to teach learners art and other things that also are rooted from my art understanding.
Wow. Thank you so much for your time, Lefa, and thank you for being an amazing teacher.
Thank you. Thank you a lot.
That was award-winning teacher from the Batamia School for the Deaf and Blind in Tabanchu in the Free State, Lefa Thabakholo.